Amy Jones joining us on UpClose. All right, so we spoke a little bit about this. So tell me, how many different sports gods or goddesses do you think, living legends that you had a chance to interview?
I have to tell you, I was watching the Super Bowl 100 before when they were talking about, and it was pretty fun to go through and be like, I've interviewed them. I've interviewed them. I've interviewed them. I interviewed them.
That's pretty nice,
yeah,
right?
that was awesome. So yeah, I have to tell you, I mean, during that run, if you look at the late 90s, early 2000s, if it was a major name that was playing sports, I definitely had a microphone in their face at some point. Yeah.
God.
Absolutely.
So do you think that gives you a different perspective?
Absolutely.
On
they
that
were all
world?
People. They really were. They were all people. It was right after he retired, but I got to walk around of golf with Michael Jordan. That was awesome. That was
amazing.
And to see him where he would get to the tee and, put his cigar down and, would just kind of, that was always fun. Shaq was always entertaining in a locker room after Kobe was a gentleman. Kobe Bryant was a gentleman. He really was. My favorite story ever about Kobe, though, was at the time, one of the great rivalries in the NBA was the Kings versus the Lakers. That's when Chris Webber had gotten traded, and they were the greatest show on the court. And then you had the Lakers, and God, there was always this huge rivalry, and Phil Jackson. And it was after one of the playoff games, and the Lakers had a come from behind win, and I'm doing the live shot on the court after. And I see this hand on my shoulder, and I think that it is a friend of mine that is the under basket camera guy.
Right.
Thinking he's being funny, interrupting my live shot, except that I look and I see the camera guy's eyes get like the size of saucers. And on the air, I'm patting the hand, and I'm like, oh, John, you have to get your attention. And the camera guy's giving me the feel like, no, you really need to turn and see who's in this shot. And I turn and I look up, and it's Kobe Bryant, and he looks at me, and I'm like, and there's Kobe Bryant, and he's like, yeah, you guys thought that Sacramento was going to get us tonight, but no, and he's like, I just had to come in here and say that and interrupt that live shot, and then hugs me and walks out.
That's a good story.
I was about to say, because it was a live shot.
Right.
There's no record of it except for the story of me and the producers and, that were in there. And that happened a lot. There were a lot of really cool things that happened. When when I was here, when UL beat Texas A&M, there was one camera that showed that whole experience of what happened in that final minute of when they won, and it was me. Standing up on the green, that just was like, is this really happening live? It was amazing, so it was a lot of really, really good memories of things that happened along in those years and the conversations that I got to have. Although I tell people, and they always ask, who's your favorite that you ever got to talk to? And I'm going to tell you, without a doubt, the most fascinating conversation was Billie Jean King. Really having a chance to hear her talk about what it was like to go through and fight for pay equity in women with tennis, and to hear her tell the story personally was it really is one of those things that I'll remember forever.
She's part of history.
She really is. And I mean, there are some that, it's great because they're great athletes, and then there are those that were there because history allowed them to. Same thing with Pete Rose. I don't care how you feel about him. I mean, he's a historic sports figure.
I'm so glad that you're saying that.
Yeah.
Because for a girl who's not really a sports girl, when it comes to Pete Rose, I feel that way too.
Yeah. And it really, and with him, I'm going to tell you, our conversation, we were sitting in the bleachers at a minor league baseball stadium, and him sitting there talking to me was one of the first interviews he ever did, where he talked about, I should be in the Hall of Fame. And to hear him talk about it, and, you look at what he did compared to all the different gates that we deal with now in sports. And, you do wonder if one day they let him in, where, my opinion, I think he belongs.
I think I would have to agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
And I think that points to another thing, whether it is sports, whether it is, news stories or, conversations in Lafayette. At the end of the day, we're all just human beings.
Absolutely.
We're frail.
We are.
We mess up, we make mistakes. Boy, we do need that grace and that gratitude that you talked about.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think that failure is one of the greatest things that happens. I get asked to speak to kids a lot, and I always tell them that my one wish for them is I hope they monumentally fail so bad that they don't know how they're going to get out of bed the next day, because in that is where character comes from.
Yeah.
And that builds who we are and how we handle and deal everything that life throws at us. And I will tell you that failure, as much as it hurts, as much as it just absolutely carves out so much of you, it then turns around and builds you into, I think, what you should become. By grace of God, we all stand here, right?
Yeah.
And I think that failure is absolutely put in our path to be able to create the individuals and human beings that we're supposed to be.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I want my kids to fail a lot. I want them to succeed more, but I want them to fail.
Exactly. Well, and I figured you would clarify it with that.
Absolutely.
Because it's through failure and what you do. Can you stand back up again? Can you, try again? Can you, we wouldn't have some of the great inventions that we have today if all of these people that have come before us hadn't failed miserably and then tried something different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's left on your bucket list, do you think? I wish people could see your smile.
What's left on my bucket list? Well, most people don't know that I am a massively, massively huge theater fan. It is my passion. I have told enough people that hopefully when I die, somebody gets it in my eulogy, that my happy place has always and will forever be when the house lights go down and the orchestra hits the first note of the overture.
Yeah.
If you come to my office, it is lined with walls of first edition cast posters from Broadway shows. Bucket list is that we have a thriving musical theater community in Lafayette. So I'm actively working right now with the brilliant Allison Brandon, who, for those of you that are not following what she's doing here for the theater community, please do, because I think that she's doing important work. And, the two of us are talking about how do we do that. And she's another one of somebody that came home because she saw where the gaps were. So bucket list from that is absolutely to bring that level of musical theater to Lafayette and to have people support it and love it and, allow me to just sit there from a producing role of just watching things that make me happy.
That sounds like it'd be great.
Right.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
What are my bucket list items? Aside from that, they're so small, it's such the little things. It's, everybody knows I love wearing completely loud and ridiculous wingtips. So it's finding, pairs that I don't have. It's, getting my kids to really appreciate that their first cars are going to be absolute clunkers and that they are going to love those vehicles more than anything. If you ask me today, huge bucket list would be to get them to bring the laundry down and empty the dishwasher on the first ask. That I would be like, I have succeeded in life.
The dream of all parents.
Exactly. I don't know. I would tell you that, and God's honest truth, I just try to stay in the moment. Bucket list items to me are things that when the opportunity arises, take advantage of it. But day by day, I just want to live a good life, do good things, hopefully leave this world a lot better than I found it, raise good kids, be a good spouse. And, if all of that happens, regardless of all of and what's really funny is that regardless of all of the big things that I've done, none of that matters nearly as much as those things that I've listed.
Oh, my goodness. Amy Jones has been our guest. I can't thank you enough for doing this, and I think that's a beautiful way to end this. And thank you for letting me interview you.
Absolutely.
And asking any question I wanted to. And I got to hear some fun stories that even I had not heard before.
Okay, can I shamelessly plug, though?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so if you want more of what's in the head here,
dun, 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 dun.
right, burningstickcreative.com, or, come follow me on social, and if nothing else, I'm going to be entertaining. I mean, I will say, if nothing else, I'm going to make you laugh. So,
amen to that. And
yes.
the world needs more of that, that's for sure.
There you go.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks for your time.